not bad. 8 out of 10.
It's not like you to be so generous.
Generous is my middle name.
You didn't think he would go through with it.
Better get him down. The neighbours complain. Come on.
Admit it. You underestimated.
No way. I knew he'd jump. How could he not? Hey, Jerome! 10 out of 10.
Perfect, Jerome. Perfect. The Flying Dutchman came through.
Hey, fit for the Olympics now, buddy. Jerome, come on. Let's get you off that cable, mate. Yeah, very funny. Hey.
Murder call, Central 10, standing by for VKG.
Go ahead, Central 10.
We have a deceased at this location. It appears suspicious. Could we have Central Detective Central 10?
Central 10, copy that.
Evening, Constable.
Watch out, Steve. There's blood here.
Right. Name is Jerome Sertiman. He lived on the second floor with his wife, Marlena. That's her. White jumper over there.
Who's the bloke with her?
Sertiman employee, Claude Wang. Now, they were having a barbecue on the roof. He jumped.
And the point of the jump?
Well, you tell me.
Toots?
Yeah.
Cause of death?
Don't know. I haven't seen the body yet.
Constable, have you finished down there?
Oh, yes, I have.
All right, lowering the deceased now. Just stand back, will you? Bring him down, will you, fellas?
So did Sertiman set this cable up?
Apparently.
So it wasn't suicide? I mean, he knew the cable had hold and it did.
Yeah, well, that sounds all right in theory, but he is still dead. And at this stage, we can't rule out accident, suicide, or murder.
Okay, well. That's not what I was expecting. Have a look. There's 2 holes in his head. Entry wound here. Exit wound here.
Steve? He's been shot.
What? Shot?
Now, let me get this straight. You dared him to jump.
Yeah, that's right.
What were you doing? Drinking? What?
My husband was a stuntman, a professional stuntman. We'd set that cable up in advance, you know, it was all part of a dare, you know, it was just a stupid joke and now he's dead. Oh my God, I don't know what went wrong, what happened?
Note the location of the entry wound.
On the side nearest the building. This?
Lance.
Yes. Fascinating imagery. Fascinating.
Yeah, everyone in the block knew Jerome. We all liked him. Well, most of us did.
Most of you?
He didn't get on with my mum and Vic. That's them over there. Vic's a music buff. He had the 1812 Overture going tonight, full blast. They always turn it up when they argue. See there? They live up on the 5th floor. The music goes right through the building. Jerome was always at him to turn it down. He thought Vic was a loony, you know? Senno.
So you were visiting your mother tonight?
No, I got my own flat here. Maybe that's why Jerome jumped. Couldn't stand Tchaikovsky anymore.
Now, as you can see here, the wounds in the skull are just about level.
Meaning?
Well, meaning the bullet did not come from below or above. It was travelling roughly parallel to the ground. Put those other 2 up there, will you, Dave?
Yep.
What do you notice about these photographs?
Well, body's hanging level with the window there.
Yeah, correct. Satisfying the horizontal angle of shot. Was there anything else? I'll give you a hint. There were no glass fragments found on the ground underneath the body.
Right.
Well, this window's open.
Yep, it's open.
Do you think the shot came from inside the apartment?
I do. We know that Sertiman jumped facing the building and that he ended up hanging outside the window of the apartment. Now, I believe that he was still alive, that he was shot by someone waiting for him in his apartment. I mean, there are other scenarios, but that seems to be the simplest at the moment.
No, let's start with that. Inferences.
Well, assuming that the bullet remained travelling in a straight line, I would suggest that it is embedded in the building opposite, probably here on the second floor, directly opposite the deceased's apartment.
So our best bet is someone who knew in advance that Sertiman was going to jump. Right.
So neither you nor Mrs. Sertiman heard a gunshot last night?
No.
Even though you were up on the roof the whole time?
Someone had music playing.
Loud enough to mask a gunshot?
Well, it must have been because we didn't hear anything.
You said you were Mr. Sertiman's business partner.
Well, we were more than just business partners, we were mates. Hey, Jerome! Long way down, mate. You still want to do this? He was afraid of heights.
A professional stuntman.
Lots of guys have areas they don't like. Jerome's was heights. They used to wind him up about it.
It's a piece of cake, Junior. Just keep your eye on this.
He was milking it, holding a finger up in the air, testing the wind, trying to make out he wasn't scared.
Jerome, darling, you're being very silly.
Elena was still laughing as Jerome jumped. We went downstairs to help him in the window.
Could anyone have got into the apartment while you were up on the roof?
No, the door was still locked, curtains drawn.
What about the window? Was it open or closed?
Open.
Mr. Wang, just why did you dare Mr. Sertiman to jump?
Oh, we used to dare each other all the time. It was a mark of respect.
Respect?
Jerome was 40 years old. He was way past his best and he was afraid of heights. And those dares just gave him a chance to prove he still had it.
Everything was going so well, you know. Jerome was so happy. He was finally going to do what he always wanted to do.
What was that?
Film work, television, that sort of thing. After all those tours, the Flying Dutchman were finally going to make some real money.
Thought you said you'd booked a national tour.
Yeah, that's right. Festivals, shows. That was Claude's idea. He preferred live work.
Why's that?
Well, film stunts, they're not high risk. They're high risk illusions. Live work is more dangerous and Claude, he just craves the risk. He lives for it.
What about your husband?
He wanted stability. You know, he'd pay his dues.
Did your husband have any enemies that you know of?
No.
No creditors, competitors, anyone who might have had a grudge?
No, everybody loved Jerome.
What about Claude Wang? Live tour was his idea. Did that affect his relationship with your husband at all?
No, it didn't. Jerome understood that the tour would help our profile. Claude's a young man who needs stimulation. Surely you must have felt like that before.
Stimulation? That's what too much stimulation does for you.
Oh, Hayden, the man's got a bullet hole in his head. I don't access stimulation's responsible.
You two have finished. The entry wound is between 6 and 7 millimetres. The exit wound is between 15 and 20 millimetres. Don't ask me to hazard a guess about the gun. That's Lance's department. However, there are several fractures communicating all around the skull. Listen. That's a result of the penetrative and exiting power of the bullet.
Does the wound tell us anything about the actual bullet?
Well, the measurements indicate a projectile of medium calibre, moderate to high velocity.
Well, if you know all that, Fisk, how come you didn't find the bullet?
You know, Hayden, I think you might well be on the money. We may be looking in the wrong spot.
D, if you could just stand back a little bit from the edge, I wouldn't want you to go over, okay?
Huh?
To infinity and beyond, I believe, is the expression.
Oh, I think I will get out of the way.
So you're saying the shot didn't come from the second floor apartment, it came from this apartment, which is the 5th floor?
Correct. Look, we found gunshot residue in this apartment. It wasn't present in the apartment on the 2nd floor. The window's open here.
All right, look, Fist, do you agree that our killer knew in advance that Sertiman was going to jump?
Almost certainly.
Right, well then why would he choose this apartment? It means shooting a man through the head as he fell past the window at speed at dusk.
You find it improbable, eh?
Don't you?
Well, yes, I do, as a matter of fact. However, once we eliminate what is impossible, whatever is left, however improbable that may seem, is the truth. That bullet was fired from this apartment. It's passed through the head of Jerome Sertiman and lodged in the building directly opposite. Trajectory analysis confirms that. Our killer was an incredibly good shot. Newsflash. Ballistics say that the bullet came from a Tokarev pistol.
Never heard of it. I'm not surprised. Very, very rare. Originated in Russia in the 50s. A military weapon, apparently.
Well, is it the kind of gun that a collector might have?
Good thought. Follow up on that. Who owns the apartment the shot came from?
A French fella called Maurice Dubois. He's been in Paris for the last month visiting his family. Fist says there was no signs of forced entry.
Well, whoever shot Sertiman had a key.
Yeah, well, the plants had all been watered.
Well, our merchant could be a mate of Dubois. Could even be a neighbour. So get a rundown on everybody in that block.
Malcolm, that's 30-odd apartments.
Then don't wear your new shoes.
Detective Vance, homicide. Mrs.
Stella. This is my husband, Vic.
You didn't see anyone unusual enter or exit the building?
No, we were inside all last night, listening to music, the 1812 overture.
Either of you possessed a firearm?
And neither you nor your husband possess a firearm?
No.
No, I don't like guns.
What about Maurice Dubois?
Don't know.
Did Mr. Dubois leave a key at all for his apartment number 12?
You don't need a key. I mean, it's already open. What's he looking for?
You know, the people in this building are very weird.
Yes, I noticed.
No one I spoke to had a key to the Frenchman's apartment, and no one has a gun, or so they're saying. How'd you go?
Same. You know, you'd have to be incredibly skillful to shoot someone in mid-fall.
Yeah. You know, I still think our best bet is someone close to him.
Someone with split-second timing.
Yeah.
Come on, China. Let's do it.
Woo. We'll be contacting you close to 2:30 Are you okay with that?
Yeah, fine.
Okay, good. Remember, timing's the key. The longer we hold it, the closer we get, the better.
No worries. Flat stick all the way.
What does a stunt outfit need a rifle for?
It's not the company's, it's mine. China has a thing for weapons. Don't worry, I've got it under control. You want to see the license?
Do you own any other guns, China?
What are you after?
We're after Tokarev pistol.
Tokarev's Russian. Got a long barrel for accuracy. Handy for bringing down a moving target. Or anything else.
Mrs. Sertiman, we think that your husband was shot as he was falling.
I wouldn't have thought that was possible. Marlena can't even hit a clay pigeon. Of course, Jerome was a lot bigger than a clay pigeon.
What kind of person owns a gun like this?
Purist?
Jerome didn't know anyone that shoots, did he?
No. Only China. Tokarev's small caliber, but maximum impact. If it was close range, poor old Jerome wouldn't have had much of his head left.
Excuse
Sorry.
Mate. Good one.
We never said that he was shot in the head.
Well, where would you have shot him?
Is China Gold her real name?
Our stunt coordinator. Ask Claude, he'd know. He found her.
How long's she been with you?
About a year.
What was China's relationship with your husband?
They liked each other. But you gotta understand, Claude is China's boyfriend, and she always thought that he deserved more recognition.
Right, was that a problem?
Well, I had to deal with a few tired and emotional tantrums. Look, she's very good at what she does. Sometimes I wish she wasn't so highly strung. If you're sleeping with that slag, I'll kill you.
You shouldn't have said so much about guns.
If you're sleeping with that slag, I'll kill you. Let's do that stunt again. Get out of the way.
Sure.
Claude Wang gets his business partner to jump off the roof of a building and then tells us it was as a mark of respect. Now, he said that with a straight face, so I don't think he's going to be easily pressured. That brings us to the wife. What have we got on her?
Well, she claims to have been on the roof with Claude Wang when her husband jumped. You know, maybe she hired a marksman to kill him.
Hired gun. Possible.
China Gold's got an interest in weapons. She's got amazing timing and she knows about Tokarev pistols. Maybe the three of them are in it together.
A conspiracy.
Yeah. Right. The wife and Claude Wang on the roof, daring Jerome to jump. China Gold below, clocks him.
At the risk of getting abstract, Tessa?
Well, China's very highly strung and she's mad about Claude Wang. It's possible she'd do anything he asked her.
Okay. China Gold it is. Bring her in.
Right.
Open up, Marlena! What do you want? Where's Claude? He's not here. If you're lying... He's not here. Why are you dressed like that? Oh, I haven't got time for this. I'm coming in. Claude! Claude! I know you're after Claude. Now you're Jerome out of the way. You think you can have him. I'll get you. Do you hear? I'll get you, you bitch! We have got a problem.
very impressive, China. We'd like to have a word if we may.
So, where were you when Jerome Sertman was killed?
At home.
Was anyone with you?
No.
Why weren't you with the Sertimans and Claude Wang?
Marlena made sure I wasn't invited. She doesn't like me.
Why is that?
Because she's a two-faced slut-bucket whore. She killed Jerome.
Really? Do you have any proof of that?
I know what she's like. She did it. Marlena runs Flying Dutchman. She hires, fires, handles the bookings, accounts, everything.
Claude Wang said it was a partnership.
Marlena runs it. She didn't need Jerome anymore, so she got rid of him.
Right. You know about guns, you don't have an alibi. You're the stunt coordinator for Flying Dutchman, aren't you?
Yeah.
So did you know that Jerome was going to jump?
Yeah.
And did you shoot him?
If I shot anyone, I'd do it to their face, not wait till they were helpless. I told you, Marlena did it. So she can have Claude. She's trying to steal him from me, but she's not getting him. Claude's mine. Mine.
I wouldn't trust this stuff.
It's a deceleration system, D. It's perfectly safe.
Yeah, well, if anything goes wrong, you're dead for a pretty long time. Who'd be a stunty? It's absolutely crazy.
You take photos of dead bodies, don't you, D?
Well, at least there's some purpose to it. I mean, these guys just fling themselves off buildings for the fun of it.
Yes, the adrenaline rush can be very addictive, I believe.
What? You get off on it, do you? Is that what you do on your weekends? Leap off tall buildings?
You should be somewhere else, shouldn't you?
No, come on, you can tell me, Sarge. I can see you in a long black cape and your mask with your little leather underdacks over some coloured tights. Or are they fishnet?
Yes, they're fishnet, Constable. I also have a pair of false breasts, which are very fetching. Get on with your work, will you?
Get on with it.
Bad day, honey.
I warned you. Are you sleeping with Marlena?
Of course I'm sleeping with her.
How long? How long?
Oh, about 3 years.
Oh, you reckon? Oh, no, I think it's more like 3.5. I don't believe you. Yes, you do. You just don't want to. You see, Jerome was a fool. He didn't suspect anything. Well, not until about last year. And we got rid of those suspicions by finding Claude a girlfriend. Why don't you just tell him?
Well, you see, dissolving a partnership's messy. It's much easier if one of the partners dies. Sooner or later, one of those dares was bound to go tragically wrong.
Tragically.
Besides, forbidden fruit.
You used me. All this time.
He fires the bullet, which releases the arrow, which blows out these candles, and thwack, splits the apple on top of his own head. I mean, this was incredibly close. If he had sneezed, curtains right between the eyes. Then afterwards, he did this incredible disappearing act, which sort of looked like he turned himself into a chicken.
Dee, can you bring the detail up here, please?
Shove over, love.
Yeah, top right-hand corner.
Right.
Melaine Sertiman's been on the phone, and China Gold has been hurling knives at Claude Wang. Hello, what do you got here?
China Gold, she said she was at home.
So she was there that night. Maybe Steve was right. Maybe they are in on it together. If so, it's starting to fall apart now. China Gold, eh? Bring her in, we'll have a talk to her. And print that shot of her, and I'll have it circulated. Good work, Tessa. You too, Dee.
Compliments. Must be on Prozac.
Shh. You got it? Just give me a little more time, please.
Yeah, let's find somewhere quiet we can go, eh?
Maybe a storage room, perhaps, eh?
Oh, please, come in. I've been expecting you.
Last. Did you find her?
Not yet. But we do know that China was here the night Jerome was murdered.
Did you know she was here?
No, but it doesn't surprise me.
Why do you say that?
China was desperate to come the night Jerome was killed. I didn't want to hear.
Why's that?
Her attitude towards my husband. Jerome was a good stuntman. Claude's a better one. China knew it. I think I mentioned before that she felt that Jerome was holding him back.
Yeah, he said that wasn't a problem.
Yeah, well, I didn't realise it was, not until yesterday when she burst in here accusing me of sleeping with Claude and like I was trying to steal him away from her.
Yeah, she totally lost it this morning and started throwing knives.
Yeah, but she'd never kill you. China has serious problems. She's obsessive. You know, I really think she started to believe that Jerome was holding him back and, well, I think she may have been crazy enough to do something about it.
Oh, now where was I up to? Excuse me, big fella. Oh, that's right, I missed a bit, didn't I?
Did you hear that? Hello, anyone there?
Mr. Holmes, can you open the door, please, sir?
Kidding.
Oh, I'm so glad you could come. A friend here was just going to have a garage sale. He invited us in, then he had a sudden anxiety attack. Didn't you, Phil?
Yes. Gentlemen, I have no doubt that you are the cause of Mr. Holder's anxiety attack. Would you like to step outside and give me your names?
See you around, Phil.
We can't actually do anything unless you make a complaint. You just have to give the word, Mr. Holder.
I want Mum. Mum, give me Mum.
Ow! Hurt!
Stay still.
She's trying to kill him.
It's a cold kitchen knife, a grandmother's remedy. It's meant to stop the bruising. How did you go with Phil's friend?
Oh, they gave bogus names. Local police know this. Thugs who specialise in collecting gambling debts. Hold on, I want to talk to him. Mr. Holder. Do you have gambling debt, sir? Is that why you were assaulted?
I wasn't assaulted.
Gambling? How many times did I warn you?
If you lent me the money,
No more. I told you never again.
Mrs. Popoff, please, we need to sort this out.
Where's the money? I don't have any money.
I understand.
What's he done with it?
Mr. Holder, sir, if you owe these men money, they will come back unless you make a formal complaint.
I'm a dead man anyway.
Why is that?
Mr. Popoff, is that yours?
We've had it for years.
I thought it might belong to the owner of apartment 12, the apartment opposite.
No, it's ours. Why?
Well, it's just I was in there the other day and I saw that watering can in there, and you said earlier that you didn't have access to apartment 12, but I saw the can there, so you must have a key.
They know, dear. We'd better tell them the truth.
Maurice gave us the keys when he went overseas. He asked us to water the plants. He's devoted to them.
Well, you should have told us that before.
Well, I was afraid that you'd think that we'd shot Mr. Sutterman. He's a vile man. I mean, he always used to complain about our music. We have to have it up loud. We're a bit deaf, you know.
Were you listening to your music the night he was shot?
Yes. What was it, Vic? Mahler?
Tchaikovsky. Dum da 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 dum dum boom. The 1812 overture with Eugene Ormond.
Have you ever seen this woman in the building?
Yes, she was here yesterday. I don't know her name. She was down there. She was down there looking at the blood.
Do you remember if she was here the night Mr. Sutherland was shot?
Well, that's where I met her. I gave her the key.
Sorry, you gave her the key to this apartment?
She said she worked for Mr. Sutherland. She was planning a big surprise. Why? Is there any... Oh, dear.
Stella.
Oh, that man.
Stella.
That poor man. She shot him. She shot him, didn't she?
Don't.
And I gave her the key.
Okay, well, we've got your statements. Thank you very much for coming in.
Are we in trouble?
No, not at this stage, but we'd appreciate it if you'd stay in contact.
Why were you there, China?
Because I didn't trust Claude and Marlena.
So you went there to spy on your boyfriend, did you?
Yeah.
Did you see what happened to Jerome Sertiman?
He jumped off the roof. There was music playing. I saw him hanging there. He was dead.
Did you shoot him?
No.
Did you see who did?
No.
Where were you when he jumped?
I was watching from the street.
Was there anyone with Jerome Sertiman when he jumped?
Claude and Marlena were watching from the roof.
She's confirming their alibi.
I was hoping that you'd put a hole in it.
Well, our information says you were given a key to apartment 12 the day Jerome Sertiman was shot. Jerome Sertiman was shot as he fell past the window of apartment 12. Were you in that apartment?
No.
We're not getting enough to charge you. This is all circumstantial.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
They always turn it up when they argue.
The bullet came from a Tokarev pistol.
Mrs. Popov, please. We need to sort this out.
Malcolm, she didn't recognise them.
Who?
China at the lifts, she didn't recognise Vic or Stella Popov.
Well, she is a stunt woman, you know. Nerves of steel, not easily phased.
Yeah. When she's in control of a situation, she was not in control of that situation. She had no idea that they'd be there and she didn't bat an eyelid.
So you reckon she's telling the truth?
Mm-hmm. I don't think that China knew Stella or Vic. And if that's the case, then the only people with access to apartment number 12 are Vic and Stella Popov. We'd like to see the gun, please, Mrs. Popov.
What gun?
The Model T-33 Tokarev pistol. We know you own one.
Don't say anything, Vic. Do you have a warrant?
Well, I'm hoping we won't need one, Mr. Popov.
Please come in, Detective.
Vic!
It's no use, Stella. I told you from the start. Thank God you're here. I haven't slept since. I suppose a murderer should discard his weapons. But I am not a murderer. You know that, don't you?
No, I don't.
I have never killed anything in my life. I've had that pistol for 47 years. It was my brother's. I brought it with me from the Ukraine.
Have you used it in that time, sir?
Never. Never once. It was a memento.
What were you doing in apartment 12?
I was watering the garden. The flowers.
Can you explain why you had an unlicensed loaded Tokarev pistol with you?
I didn't know it was loaded, I swear.
What were you doing with the pistol, sir?
I don't even have any bullets. It was an accident.
Mr. Popov, you were in your neighbour's apartment where you discharged a loaded pistol out the window, killing Jerome Sertiman. Now, sir, you claim this was an accident. If I'm going to believe you, you have to tell me what you were doing there.
This is very difficult to explain. We have a little drama, Stella and me. I put on the music. I'm coming to get you now, Stella!
Our arguments were always the same. He'd put the music on, then he'd walk around holding a gun, talking. He calls me terrible names.
Don't you dare raise your voice to me!
Then what?
Stella would ignore me. She'd let me finish and then she'd taunt me. She'd tell me I was poor and weak, small. Going to give me some respect. You hear me, Stella? I want some respect!
Taunting him would only make him worse. By that stage, we'd be shouting.
Why don't I find a real man instead of some useless, worn-out old hag?
She called me a hag deliberately. She knew it agitated me. You take that back!
or be nasty to me. Come on, I'm a bad girl. Do your worst.
She was no lady, not Stella. Not my Stella.
Come on then, shoot me. Shoot me. Come on. I'm walking out on you. I'm walking. You better shoot me hard. Shoot me. I'm going into apartment 12.
So you went into apartment 12?
I heard the music get louder. I knew Vic would come after me.
I warned you!
Go on, do it! Do it! Do it! Go on, Hag! 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 Hag!
I warned you!
Do it! Do it! Do it! Hag!
You're dead, Stella! Dead!
We didn't know what had happened. Vic never loaded it.
How long has this been going on?
Well, since before we were married. That's about 6 years now.
And has he ever used any other kind of physical violence toward you?
No. The gun is all we need.
Sorry?
Well, we write little scenes, then we rehearse them, and then we perform them, and then afterwards we feel very close.
You were acting?
Yes. It was a script. Our argument was a script.
You were acting out a fantasy?
His scenarios always end with us yelling, him pointing the gun at my head and pulling the trigger. It's so exciting. The drama, the passion. My husband is a great writer. He's the best writer I have ever known. Do you understand what I'm saying now, Detective?
Yeah, I think I do.
I don't want to live without that. What will he be charged with?
Probably manslaughter.
He didn't know it was loaded. It was an accident. Vic would never hurt me.
Mrs. Popoff, Jerome Sertman wasn't the target. Somebody wanted to kill you. Now, if your husband didn't put the bullet in the gun, who did?
Who, Mr. Popov?
So, what is it? Horses? Dogs? Where does your money go?
Horses. A couple of years ago, I put $500 on a horse at 60 to 1. I cleaned up. I've had a run of bad luck since then.
And who pays your debts? Your mum?
She's rich. She can afford it.
But not this time.
$7,000, that's what I owe. It's nothing to her. But no, she told me she'd done enough. She and Vic invested her money. Mum and I were fine till he came along. Did you know they play games?
You knew about that?
Of course I knew about it. They're disgusting. Caught them at it once. They came into the flat. They were in these costumes. My mother.
Why'd you put the bullet in the gun?
I needed money. Mum told me I'd get it over her dead body. I took her literally. I loaded the gun, and I waited for them to stage one of their disgusting arguments.
Which you knew always ended with Vic pulling the trigger.
I kept listening for the music, and when I heard it the other night, I was sure.
Simple plan. If it had worked, your mother would be dead, Vic could be in jail for murder, and you would have inherited everything. Instead, Jerome Sertman was killed.
I should be a wealthy man. Now look at me. because that twisted old pervert couldn't shoot straight.
No, Fisk, you don't understand. They're talking about putting up a block of flats right next door. Exactly, that's 28 weirdos looking in my backyard.
Detect a touch of paranoia.
No.
Dollop of paranoia.
Yes,
No, he's right, Sergeant. You could be surrounded by lunatics jumping off buildings, dressing up in their fishnet stockings.
Yeah, well, I want my home to be a haven, not an amusement park.
Well, Hayden, I tell you the answer is staring him in the face.
What, dynamite?
The more subtle move.
Actually, there's a property going in your street, Nance. It's a renovator's delight. It's right up his alley.
Oh, you two be as happy as Larry.
Just think, Fisk, you and I could be neighbours.
Yeah, that'd be terrific. That'd be absolutely terrific. I'm going to buy a drink, and I'm not buying you one.
Oh, I'm so sad.
To Lance.
To lunch. Did you call him?